Hi guys, let's talk today about standard 3. So this is standard 3, it's a long standard, but it says some ecosystems maintain consistency for hundreds or thousands of years, though most tend to have cyclic fluctuations around a state of equilibrium. These ecosystems always change as geological or biological conditions vary. When an environment changes, the survival value of heritable characteristics that influence survival may change, which can cause a change in population. So we're going to talk about that, but basically there's these things called ecosystems. Usually they're pretty stable and normal, but when stuff changes, they have to change as well. So we're going to start by talking about the ecological levels. So an ecosystem is just one of the levels we measure in ecology. So remember, ecology is all about how organisms interact. So these levels are going to help us better understand how things interact. First is individual. So an individual would just be one of whatever species you're studying. So if you are studying in the sub-Saharan desert of Africa and you're looking at lions, one lion would be an individual. So you would study one individual, that would be one lion. The population would be all the individuals of one species living in one area. So now you're looking at a certain area of that desert. All the lions within that area would be your population. So again, they have to be the same species, all lions, but they also have to live in the same area. So a lion in Africa is not in the same population as a lion in the Columbus Zoo. All right, so totally different populations because they're in different areas. But again, a population, they have to be the same species, one area. A community is all the populations within that specific area. So now we have our lions, our giraffes, our antelopes, our gazelles. All of those things living in one area make up the community. So community is lots of little populations in that one specific area. Ecosystems, that's the important one for our standard, right? An ecosystem is all the biotic and abiotic factors in one area. So you're probably like, what do those words mean, right? Biotic are the living things, and abiotic are the non-living things of an ecosystem. So abiotic, non-living, biotic, living. Think biology, the study of life. Bio, that prefix means living. So again, ecosystems, all the biotic factors. So all of those living things in the area. So plants, bacteria, viruses, grass, animals, all of those are the biotic factors. And then you have the abiotic factors, the non-living things in the ecosystem. So this is the amount of rainfall it gets annually. It's the soil type, it's rock formations, it's weather patterns, climate, the temperature outside, the humidity in the air. All of those things are part of the abiotic factors. So your ecosystem is really looking at that entire community plus all the non-living things, and we're kind of looking at how they interact together. So how does the climate affect what lives in the area? That would be studying the ecosystem. Next, we have a biome. So a biome are sets of ecosystems with very similar biotic and abiotic factors. So on the map there, they have outlined a couple of biomes for you that are desert biomes. So you can see they're scattered across the world, but they all have really similar abiotic factors. So similar amounts of rainfall or similar soil types and similar biotic factors as well. So the animals, plants, fungi, all that inhabit those areas are similar as well. Not identical, but similar. All right, and then we have the biosphere. So the biosphere is all of the biomes together. So of course it's just the entire world. Okay, so those are the ecological levels. Again, we have individual, population, community, ecosystems, biome, and biosphere. I had to think for a second there. And again, we're talking really about ecosystems in this standard. So that's what we want to focus on. So the standard said that ecosystems maintain equilibrium. Okay, so equilibrium might be a new word for you, but equilibrium are just set conditions. So in other words, most of the time, your ecosystem is set, right? So the amount of rainfall stays the same. The soil type stays the same. And the things living in it are also sort of set. So you have a certain amount of lions, you have a certain amount of gazelles, and they are kind of staying in this one general amount, right? So equilibrium, think about it like equal, where stuff's maybe changing a little bit, but then it's correcting itself to kind of like a baseline. So basically an ecosystem will stay in equilibrium unless something happens. So maybe there's a natural disaster, or all of a sudden there's a drought. Those are things that can change the equilibrium or change the ecosystem because equilibrium gets disrupted. So again, if we go back to that standard way back here, most of the time the ecosystem will be in equilibrium. So for hundreds or thousands of years, they're at this baseline. Okay, but then if a change happens, the ecosystem changes. So in this activity, what you're going to do is you're going to design your own ecosystem. And in step 1, in today's part, it's going to be in equilibrium. And then when we get to standard 4, we're going to talk about the things that disrupt equilibrium, and you're going to actually change it around for the next part of the assignment. So as always, let me know if you have questions, and yeah, continue on to your assignment. Thanks, guys.